Where were we? Yes, Queen making speechifying noises about how terrible this is. Perhaps she even asks Christabel if you'd like to come and talk to her more privately about this afterwards. And Shining Star and/or Girl were considering having trying to have words with the Met. Which either of you are doing this? Thinking about that.
Does Numair also have like a nomad entourage around him, or is he at this court?
At the moment, he still has the two nomads. Not gonna make you roll for this one. They appear to be the same nomads who were with him when he arrived.
I have a thought, which is that if it's like Girl, we could cut to Girl and Shining Star just face to face with Puck Numair if all of the issues regarding whether or not there's going to be a horrifying assassination attempt have been resolved, then we could do. If not, then obviously it's in your court, Ross. But
so if it's in my court, then I will say that I don't feel we have much in this particular court to deal with, because Puck and the mayor previously looked like they were going to try and speak to the Queen. I'm no longer keen on that idea, and you could certainly try and make an opportunity to go and talk to them face to face if you wanted to, either Shining Star or Girl or both. But I will probably make you roll for it to find out what happens.
You know,
I feel like my luck as the GM must be in soon in terms of terrible rolls. So,
hey, Numair.
Do you want to roll quickness to try and cut them off before they can leave the palace?
Not only do I want to, but I do. And with an 80 and a quickness of 13, that puts me in a great.
Ooh, right. Well, great is easily going to be enough to overcome their own quicknesses, I imagine.
And on my quickness, I got a 71. I mean, I'm we can double team and box them in.
Absolutely, because what I'm going to do is say Numair.
Yep. Who are you?
Doesn't matter. You know who she is, and not only that. Do you have the guts to face her? Will you put your honor and your faith on the line? Whatever faith you have that's not your ego?
Ooh. Okay, that seems like a challenge.
Her death is yours, or yours is hers. You'll go no farther today before we find out.
Wow. Drama. I feel like trying to box him into getting into a duel is going to be a feat of cunning. Does that seem reasonable? And Girl, are you doing anything to assist him?
Yeah, I mean, I would, I certainly would be on board with this, and I think would say something to the effect.
Actually, I think your cunning is what I would like to roll because mine ain't so good. I'd rather have my quickness just be the helper to your cunning.
Your cunning's pretty low as well. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, does anyone want to make this a preach to appeal to his honor and
I don't really actually know. I don't want to appeal to his honor, not even a little.
It felt like it was a trick. It was not a trick,
what I want is my sincerity. Because this is not charming. I can't be charming. But what I want is my sincerity that I want him dead.
You can certainly use a sincerity roll to convince him that you want him dead. That's going to work. Whether he wants to agree to anything because of that seems more of a stretch. If you want him to, either it's an appeal to.
Yeah.
The honourable thing would be to face this former slave. Which, unless you want to get into in-depth arguments of religion or something
stuff like that.
Yeah. Or it's a cunning roll to put him in a position where he
Yeah.
can't. I mean, who
No,
knows
no.
how the dice will work?
Oh, it could be worse, actually.
Often the case.
No, I get a poor.
Ah. As I said, girl, were you doing anything to?
I mean, I think I certainly would be reinforcing this idea that, okay, Numair, you have waged wars on the backs of slaves, but my suspicion is that when it comes to actually doing an honorable deed yourself, you are incapable of doing it.
Or even a brave one.
Brave, honorable.
If victory, if victory, if your God gives you victory, he certainly, let's see it.
Okay.
Because so
I
far-
still feel like Urs is basically trying to push his butt to provoke him, and that feels like cunning as well.
All right.
Do you like to? I'm
Go for
open
it.
to other
No, go for it.
suggestions.
Let's see.
Cunning or preach, yeah.
I'm pathetic.
Oh, okay.
All right.
God,
At the moment,
we go from
and
being
sadly,
being Sarah Connor to Romy and Michelle, back and forth.
I
Well,
think this is
I-
Numura's opportunity for a speech.
I think it was a lovely idea, which the GM heartily appreciated and was looking forward to, and already planning how this. But Numair is uncooperative because he is dismissive of anyone who's not a nomad, and how can he have a obligation? In fact, he's telling you this because he's disgusted at your what you've been saying.
Oh well,
How can he
I hope
possibly
the
have an
Queen is
obligation?
hearing how he doesn't give a shit about anyone who's not a nomad.
We will address that in a moment. He absolutely doesn't give a shit about anyone who's not. Certainly has no moral obligation to a slave, a person lower than the lowest,
More, yeah.
an
Loud,
escaped slave, even,
loud.
and will and would not sully his sword with your blood. Right. Okay. How?
Lean back and see whether Her Majesty got a whiff of all that goodwill and hands across the water and diplomacy and whatnot.
That sounds like a fate roll. Who wants to make that one?
I have a fate of 11.
That's my fate as well.
Give me 2 fate rolls, and we'll see how it goes. And the the higher one will prevail.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
Because this is a cooperative fate rolls.
My result is a good.
My result
Mm-hmm.
is a superior. I
Okay.
rolled a 9.
Using the rules of cooperative rolls, right?
Oh, that
Yes,
turns
it
it
is.
into an awesome.
It turns it into an awesome because it was a good custom com ship. So,
As we spin our Romy and Michelle performance into a bravura moment of coincidence. Not bad, actually.
the fiction leads where the fiction leads. So I don't
Oh,
think I've done
we-
horrible.
I think our careful discussion of our numbers meted it out a little bit easily, but that's
Well.
okay.
Well, you rolled with having to roll cunning. And so the Queen is giving thunderous looks to this argument happening in the corner of the room and cannot help but overhear Numair's rant about inferior races, and this has obviously put him in a dubious position to be coming and trying to make
Our work here is
agreements. Mm.
Sorry you couldn't kill him, girl.
He's young.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But yes, okay. It sounds like you two might be. So you are an increasingly and only barely contained rage within there. Right, I'm not going to make you roll to notice because anyone could see it. Is visible to everyone as he storms past you. Tricked by the fates into revealing his
True nature, yes.
outburst.
Yeah.
And Puck is visibly trying to avoid looking like he's running off following him at the same time as being very keen to be somewhere else. I believe I suggested that the Queen might at some point want to speak to Christabel in a more private setting, and that we can cut to that if you'd like.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if it will reveal anything new and exciting compared to what we already know, that the Queen is going to do nice things and promote peace. If you'd like to have the conversation,
I mean, it could just be we know that happened in a, movie denouement, like scene of them talking while the soundtrack plays kind of way.
Or you could try to leverage this into some sort of position of permanent,
I don't think
it's
that's
up to you. It's a day you want out of it. Otherwise, she just
okay.
wants to let you know that she really does care and she is a benevolent empress.
I think I'm fine with that. I'm not like shining star looking for a job.
You have the job.
I have it. I have a job.
I mean, I'm sure there are many ways it could go horribly wrong if you wanted to talk.
I will put in a good word for Shining Star and Girl and say that they need a job. And Shining Star is very devout. That's true. Very always talking about Dana.
And you're not even lying. That's kind of awesome.
Has performed miracles, yes. I'm terrible at lying. It says so.
Well, that's right, because that's not a lie. This is putting in a good word for your friends. I'm not.
That's right.
And whether I even want to make you make a roll for that.
Okay.
And Girl's very devout as well, although the nature of her.
we don't understand what she's about to, but
still trying to see where the warship is, but she seems to think so. Something very Rastafarian about Girl's notions of divinity.
Yes.
Let's have a charm roll for that as a little aside, and I'm sure the Queen is used to people whispering in their ears about other people who wouldn't.
Great
money. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Shall we quit while we're ahead?
I think you probably should.
Yes. Because we haven't seen a catastrophic yet, and that's a first. I think we've never gone a session without a catastrophe, so this might be the time to pick up our skirts and run.
I will stick a pin in what happens as a result of this great role. I'm sure you have impressed, and she's already seen you in earlier on. You have impressed the Elf Queen with your wonderful devoutness and whatever the elven equivalent of humanitarian is.
Elfitarian.
Right. In the absence of a huge climactic battle with Numair, I'm wondering if that is a good place to call a halt for now.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
So I can. Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead first.
I was going to say, as I'm calling a halt, I can only possibly give you 3 bonus inspiration points for such a daring and apparently fruitful approach to bringing peace to the royal, which can only be a good thing and only be encouraged.
Right.
Opportunities to increase your skills.
I have become more cunning.
Ooh.
Well,
that could be useful when somebody decides to recruit you as a spy mission.
Darn it. I'm rolling so good I can't learn anything. Oh, I did get better at reading.
Okay.
Oh,
important skill that I should.
This is going to be ridiculous, but I have brought my brawling from a 5 to a 6. Decided that I need to know how to elbow someone in the face. I'm just going to keep working that one up.
I did think when you said, "Oh, these the foes are a bit squishy," you were probably quite lucky that the hellhound that he didn't get close to the target, didn't get close enough.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Because I'm very. Shining Star is remarkably fragile, so.
But we should talk about that more.
Fortunately, she's a little bit elusive, but she's definitely fragile. I have one more roll, and let's see whether I can Ah, I do not get better at preach. Oh well. Okay. What about you, Robbie? What's going on?
Okay, well, I'm using 5, so I had banked up 3 from the other time, and
Ooh.
since I have this
Oh.
this nifty bullwhip, maybe it's appropriate for me to take bind as a spell.
Okay, bind is good.
So I'll use 5 of the. It's 5 points, right? That I use to gain
Yeah,
a
5
spell.
points to get the spell, and you get the spell half the.
And you've got a big old stamina,
Eric.
so half of that's still a pretty good number, right? So,
Okay, yeah, it's not great, but it'll I think
It'll
work.
go up. It'll be great when binding things goes horribly
yeah,
wrong.
after several catastrophes later, you'll get a couple of improvements. That's good. All right. Well.
So that
That probably leaves you 1 point, Robbie. It sounds like.
Yeah, I tried the other point, and it did not. I was going to try to increase my sanity, but I did not succeed with
Oh
that.
well.
oh well.
A worthy thought.
Oh.
I have actually benefited greatly from my high sanity. The Gankoner in particular, being able to sort of walk past him was a big deal.
Yeah, I have high sanity, but strangely I did not benefit.
Right.
The dice will.
The dice do speak.
I have a couple things. Do we want to do like a video debrief like you were
I'd love
thinking?
to do
Or
that.
yeah.
I would love to do a video debrief. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
And probably there will be a little bit of an X attached if that would be all right, because I will give it a bit of thought to what actually happens when
Yeah.
decide to bring peace. And
Right.
Yeah,
a sort of
denouement.
epilogue-ish approach
Yeah.
would be good too.